It is a rather intriguing scene. Such little girls and such grand and important-looking men. It took place in 1802. The Prince of Wales and other distinguished Freemasons are watching pupils from the first Masonic school entering Grand Lodge in London. Leading them is the Chevalier Bartholomew Ruspini, a man of strong charitable principles and the founder of the school. It was opened in 1788. The year, incidentally, in which another Freemason, Mozart, composed his last 3 symphonies. Ruspini's school began with 15 little girls, and they were instructed in reading, writing, arithmetic, and needlework. The spirit of care and concern that produced the first school has survived unimpaired to the present day. The care and concern haven't altered. Only the numbers and the breadth of the curriculum have grown.
Well, compared with the school of 1788, I suppose our 430 girls might seem rather a large number. But in fact, we're of moderate size, especially if compared with today's comprehensive schools, with 1,200 to 2,000 pupils. Freemasons, incidentally, were running the Royal Masonic School for girls along comprehensive lines long before the theorists and politicians took up the idea. And since the merits, or otherwise, of the comprehensive system continue to be debated, it might be asked why the system works so well in our case. Firstly, it's because we are of manageable size. When there are less than 500 girls, the headmistress can keep track of them and know about each individual. Nobody gets lost. And then, of necessity, we have a high staffing ratio. This enables us to do justice to children of all abilities. Our girls come from various countries, races, and religious denominations, and from the whole range of social backgrounds, which is probably unique in a public boarding school, and we have to cater for a wide range of ability. So we teach in small groups, at different levels, and at different paces.
What was his name before he came to England? Susan?
Duke William of Normandy.
In the middle picture on page 7, what's happening there? Sarah?
They're fighting, and it's very fierce.
To multiply the square root of 5 by 1.7, I move the cursor along to 1.7 and read the answer on the lower scale, which is what, Martine?
3.8.
That's correct.
The visual cliff apparatus is used to test the animal's sense of depth. He chooses from the center either the safe or the unsafe side.
Why is it that there are so many people living in the Pampas area?
Well, it's ideal area for agriculture. It's a plain with plenty of sunshine.
Yes, Anne, that's lovely. Now keep plenty of flour underneath so that it doesn't stick. Really knead it hard. That's good.
Excuse me, William, is this all right?
Really vigorously, Melanie, so that you get the yeast distributed throughout the dough and plenty of air bubbles so that it will rise evenly.
Que fait Monsieur Bertillon?
Il répare le scooter. Il répare le scooter. Il répare le scooter.
Jetzt singen wir ein deutsches Lied. Alle Vögel sind schon da.
Alle Vögel sind schon da. Alle Vögel, alle.
word you probably won't know. Can you look at it and tell me a word within it which you recognise?
We can provide help if needed for slow or backward readers or spellers. A girl might not discover until she's 14 that she's having difficulty, and it's only by having small classes that you can detect the problems and deal with them.
But I want you to pronounce it exactly as it looks. Now, can you put those two together?
In.
Right. Now, how would you pronounce this? It's not a word, but how would you pronounce that?
Us.
Right. Now, can you come right along?
In. Us.
Right.
Ominous.
Ominous.
We're busy looking for the first impression that we have of Hotspur in this play. I think, Melinda, you have the page open there. Would you read for us?
Yea, that thou makest me sad and makest me sin.
The official theorists and statisticians might claim that a comprehensive school of this size couldn't produce an economically justifiable sixth form, perhaps only 2 or 3 girls. In fact, we have nearly 80 girls in our sixth forms. They're taking advanced level courses from a choice of 15 subjects. And their general studies range from astronomy and the history of architecture to current affairs and domestic science.
This is an example of the early English stiff leaf foliage shown here very well with the clusters of stone acting as a support for the architecture.
But did this come straight after the Roman?
Well, not entirely, because there was a transition period.
A loud noise in the microphone will produce a large variation in the trace on the screen, and a soft noise will produce a small variation in the trace. Gillian, use the microphone to find the position of one node right, and now move it to find the position of the second node.
In the school's housecraft flat, they learn that to present food attractively is just as important as cooking it.
That's lovely. That was it. Marvellous. Smells so good too. It's really lovely. Looking forward to this. Very good.
Hope you're not expecting miracles, because I've never done this before.
First steps for tomorrow's wives and hostesses, though it may take a little time before they can match the expertise of a school's chef.
It is a basic doctrine of Masonic teaching in the craft that whatever Freemasons undertake to do must be done to a high standard. So it's not surprising that in every aspect of the school, staff, equipment, facilities, the buildings and grounds and their maintenance, the keynote is excellence. All this, however, would amount to little if the spirit of care and concern were not present. Happily, it's very evident. Always aware that the school is making up for a parent lost, the headmistress and her staff are involved in pastoral work all the time. Working as a team, communicating and feeding back information whenever a girl has a problem or it's thought that something may be affecting her emotional stability, they're always ready with support and encouragement.
Well, actually, there has been something bothering me. My grandmother's very ill at the moment, and my mother's having to look after her. But she's also having to continue to work, and also to look after my little sister. So it's getting too much for her, and she's getting very overworked.
Could your sister take your little brother for 2 or 3 weeks?
Well, I don't think so, because she's doing teaching practice at the moment, and also she's got her finals in the summer. I don't want to upset either my mother or my gran.
I'll tell you what, Sarah. You write to your grandmother, and then let me see the letter. And then we'll send it off. And in the light of that, I'll write, or perhaps you might write to your mother and explain.
Most of their charges are fatherless or motherless, or without either parent. New girls arrive in circumstances which require a very careful initiation into boarding school life. They may have to make a sudden adjustment to a complete change from their home background, perhaps as a result of instant tragedy, such as a road accident or an air crash. Mercifully, young people do have an inborn resilience to tragedy. Sharing the common factor of bereavement, and possibly because of it, they develop a strong protective instinct towards one another.
Come in.
Sorry to bother you, Miss Claydon, but Haley doesn't feel very well.
Oh dear, what's wrong?
I've been sick several times and I just can't get to sleep, Miss Claydon.
Clearly, such circumstances call for staff who are totally dedicated, who have the wisdom of experience, who are highly qualified, and who are prepared to do a good deal more than just teach. Their day is not done at 4 p.m., and it is thanks to their unfailing and devoted supervision that the school horizon broadens out to become not only a good home, but a lively family community.